Be sure to subscribe for more content.
What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome to the BigBC Finance Channel, and I hope you're having a very lovely day. So in today's video, we're going to be talking all about Luna Classic, what has happened to it recently, and where I think the price will go to in the near future. I'll be giving you some key price levels and some trades I'll be looking to make as well. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. And of course, if you appreciate the analysis on this channel and you haven't done so already, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe for more content like this. So with that being said, let's jump into the videos. The annotations are back on the screen from yesterday's video, and basically since that video we saw Luna Classic do this price move in the downwards direction. We can see that we have this orange trend line here. It's not perfect by any means, like we discussed in our last video. We see the price sometimes breaks below it, but generally speaking it kind of encompasses this upwards trend that we've been seeing since the end of December last year. And just recently on the 1 hour time frames, we've seen this move downwards. So what I really want to be looking at in this video is, of course, we've seen this price move down, but is this the start of a new longer term bearish trend here on Luna Classic, or is there a chance we're still in a longer term bullish trend? I mean, after all, if we look at where the price was at the end of December, we're still up quite a bit. I believe that's 20-30% from where it was just around here. So it doesn't seem all hope is lost yet. So just looking at the price move at the moment, of course, we saw something like that previously as well. So this is the first bullish thing that I have to say. Of course, we saw the price come down in this region. What seems like quite a decisive breakout. We saw some sort of sideways consolidation movement here. Initially, the prices started to head below this fib level at 16.3 cents, but we saw the price really reclaim this triangle once again, this bullish support here. So, you know, at the moment, I'm comparing the two and the structure is very, very similar. We see a very large drop. We see some sort of consolidation in this region where prices are kind of just moving sideways. So, you know, if history repeats itself in the shorter term, we could see some sort of price move up. Of course, if we look at the technicals as well, some of the technicals that support that include this linear regression channel. If we just draw the linear regression here, just take it off the log scale for a second, we can see that the channel here is showing us the bullish movement of the Luna Classic price. And you know, the edges of this channel are basically two standard deviations. So it means that most of the price data typically lies within this bullish channel here. If we do see a massive deviation from this channel, it could mean that we start seeing a new trend. But at the moment, if we have a look at the price down here, it's still within this channel. Statistically speaking, the price data is still within this bullish channel. So if we do see prices continue to fall down at the moment, then of course this channel is lost. And if we draw the same channel, it might incorporate newer data. It might mean that this channel is no longer pointing in the upwards direction, more sideways or even downwards if we draw the channel. But at the moment, this upwards channel, the price is still within its confines. So that's the first bullish sign that I have found here on Luna Classic. Of course, another reason to still be bullish as well is if we have a look at what Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin at the moment is still by no means bearish. We have broken below. And of course, as you can see here on Bitcoin, we have lost that bullish support. As you can see, there was some sort of bullish support holding the prices of Bitcoin on its journey up from the $16,000, $70,000 region all the way to $23,000. And upon losing this bullish support level, we did drop down just a little bit to 22,300. But if we have a look at the price data itself, it doesn't show us that we're bearish whatsoever. We're still holding some sort of support at the $22,300 level, and that's still nearly 50% above where the prices were back here, even after that bearish move in price. So, you know, just looking at this price data here on Bitcoin, there's nothing. We can still clearly see that the trend is generally in some sort of bullish direction. Of course, something bearish. Of course, if we were bearish on Bitcoin, what we'd want to see is the prices dip down like this, well below this support line at 22,300. And when it comes to make another high, the high isn't as high as the highs over here. So this is kind of what I'll be looking for a bearish Bitcoin and for prices to move down lower. Additionally, if we look on the 1-day chart, there is no denying that the momentum is still bullish on the MACD down here. We're still seeing large green histogram bars, and we're still seeing, you know, the buy signal come from down here when Bitcoin was 16,000, and we haven't seen any sell signal yet. So things still looking good there. Of course, we can see the MACD and the signal line starting to close in. So, you know, if we do get a crossover on Bitcoin, that could be a signal to get out of cryptos as well. But at the moment, momentum is still very much bullish here on Bitcoin on the longer term. And And of course, with long-term bullish momentum means that there is a bullish bias here on Bitcoin. For prices to go up, it should be slightly easier than for prices to start heading down, because of course going down would mean some sort of trend reversal. So things on the longer time frames on Bitcoin are looking very good. We're still at 22,600, which is by no means bearish at this point. We've just seen a trendline break on Bitcoin, but that's the only thing so far. So that's kind of the bullish case that I have for Luna Classic in terms of, that is the bullish case that we have here for Luna Classic at the moment. Unfortunately, we do have some bearish attributes to Luna Classic as well. Of course, we have broken down from this triangle. First and foremost, we should see a price target if this triangle is respected, this one in orange, at 11 cents. So of course that is a very big drop, down 40%, but I don't expect that to be reached immediately. Of course, we're looking at these Fibonacci levels as well, which we've got from drawing the fib levels from the very bottom here to the very top. And of course, these fib levels mark areas where we could potentially see some support and resistance here for Luna Classic. Of course, if we do head down, then I'd expect to see some resistance, some support at this level, just like we saw in this region here. So I'll be paying attention to these flip levels. This triangle for me will be invalidated if Luna Classic is able to reclaim this bullish support once again, like it did in this region here. But if we don't reclaim that bullish support, which at the moment sits at 18 cents here on Luna Classic, then to me, this triangle is valid and we should be heading downwards. Of course, we are also below our 100-hour moving average in blue there. That is a bearish sign. It shows us that in the short term, we are following a bearish trend. And of course, in addition to that, we see the momentum here on Luna Classic starting to show us that we have some sort of sell signal. If we go on the one-day charts here, on the MACD, we can see that we are getting a sell signal just over the past few hours here, where the MACD line and the signal line have crossed over, and that typically does give us a sell signal. So of course, throughout the past few weeks, the momentum on Luna Classic on the longer term has been bullish, but pretty much since we saw that crossover at the start of 2023 there. However, we have just crossed bearish. So this, for longer term investors could be a sign that we should see Luna Classic starting to head down over the next few days or the next few weeks. Some other risk factors as well in terms of Luna Classic. Additionally to this bearish move as well, it does look like we saw a clean rejection of this longer term moving average, the 200-day moving average, the one that we talked about in yesterday's video. It has just popped up because we now have 200 days worth of data for Luna Classic. But you can see here that the price comes up to this yellow line 4 separate times, and every single time the price bounces off it in the downwards direction, and this one seems to be no exception. Of course, every time the price comes up to this level, we can expect a big bounce in the downwards direction because this acts as a support and resistance. So this 200-day moving average, super important, and it looks like we have had a clean bounce off it into the downwards direction. So we do have this massive hurdle that's stopping us from going higher here on Luna Classic as well. On top of that, we have some big news in the stock market as well that's going to indirectly affect Luna Classic. I do think it's going to be bearish here for Luna Classic because, like I say, wherever the stock market does, whether we see a big pump or a big dump, will have an influence onto the performance of cryptos and altcoins such as Luna Classic. So, we're monitoring the stock market because big pumps and big dumps will have an influence on the price. And at the moment, what we're seeing here on the stock market is a dump is occurring. We've seen the prices pop above a very important trend line just for a little bit. So this one here in yellow, I'm just going to make that a different color so it stands out a little bit more. Let me put that in purple. So we got this purple trend line, very important. The price popped up a little bit to test our yellow support, and the prices on the stock market are coming down. And I have been monitoring that, and we have seen some pretty poor performance from earnings coming out. Of course, we had Microsoft come out yesterday with a very weak outlook for the stock market, and this is why we've seen this kind of dump from pretty much 4,020 when the stock market ended yesterday to where it is now at 3,974. And of course, over the next few days, we have earnings from other big tech companies that could really drive the stock market down as well. We've got Amazon, we've got Google, we've got Meta, and we've got Apple, and they're all big tech companies with massive market caps that could push the stock market down a lot further if they issue the same guidance as Microsoft did. And of course, with the economy the way it is, I do expect that to be a reality. And of course, I do think that's going to drive the prices down of the S&P further. I do expect there to be some sort of resistance at this level here, but ultimately I do think it's going to come down to around the 3,900 level. And with the stock market doing something like this could tip Bitcoin in the bearish direction. Of course, Bitcoin and tech stocks are very correlated, so you know, if tech stocks continue to decline, we're going to see that in Bitcoin as well. And I think that's going to add a very bearish bias onto what Luna Classic is doing. So we do have several reasons to be bearish here on Luna Classic. Technically speaking, we are now below the 100-hour moving average. We've seen a clean bounce off the 200-day moving average. We have this orange triangle that has broken to the downside, and we've seen this MACD crossover with a sell signal on the 1-day chart. On the 4-hour chart, we are seeing clear bearish momentum from the MACD, and on the 1-hour chart, on the shorter time frames, we've actually seen a little buy signal there. Of course, we were bearish throughout the past few hours when we saw this massive drop, but we have just seen a slight little crossover into the bullish side there. So, you know, some mixed feelings here on Luna Classic. Hopefully you understand the information I have presented to you in terms of where I stand at Luna Classic at the moment. There is more bearish signs here on Luna Classic than bullish signs, and I do think Luna Classic in the shorter term is going to go down further for the reasons that I have stated. But of course that's not 100% a guarantee, because we've also got some bullish things to look forward to as well, particularly in the fact that Bitcoin is still bullish in the sense that we're at 22,600, still 50% up from where it was at the end of December. Of course, we've also got this falling wedge that is still a bullish sign that's not yet been invalidated, but if we see the outcome of this orange triangle play out, then this falling wedge will be invalidated. This falling wedge should give us a very nice price target to the upside of 43 cents. So that's another bullish thing that I forgot to mention actually in this video, but that's something that's another reason to still be bullish here on Luna Classic, the fact that we're seeing this falling wedge and it's not yet been invalidated as well. So in summary, at the moment I'm just fully out of the markets. The earning seasons in the stock market is going to have an effect on what cryptocurrencies are doing. I do think this pump has been very spectacular since the end of December, but the upwards moves at the moment do not outweigh the potential risks for investing in Luna Classic and cryptos in general. So I'm just sitting out at the moment, waiting for more earnings to come out in terms of tech, to seeing if the stock market can respect these trend lines that we've drawn here on the screen. And of course above everything, if I do see anything come out, then I will update my trading view. So be sure to follow me on there for more data in real time. Otherwise, that's pretty much all I have to say in this video. So thank you so much for watching. Do let me know down in the comments if you're bullish or bearish here on Luna Classic. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them below. I will try my best to answer every single one of you. And of course, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video.